didn't finish everything he needed to, so I'm going to go check it out again later today.
Contractor issues is very common.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So before we get started, I wanted to go ahead and first of all, thank you for giving me the time of day today, brother. I know you're a busy man.
No problem. Glad, love to be on this.
Yeah, we're in Learning Conservatives podcast. This is season 2. For those that don't know, give everybody an introduction about yourself and what you do.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Johnathan Boyle. I'm a real estate investor in the northern New Jersey area. Have a little over 50 units now, working on about a dozen projects as we speak, all in different stages of completion.
Fire.
Just looking to scale higher and looking to do more.
Fire. What got you started in real estate mainly?
Honestly, I like to call myself actively lazy. So,
I like that term.
So I like to think of what's the best way where I could put out enough effort where eventually it will give me, a strong multiple of, money back. So I looked it up, and one of the big things was real estate. So I said, let me listen to a few podcasts. Let me see how this works. And then, so I listened to Bigger Pockets, and, I realized that, you could start with little to no money, which was great because at the time I didn't have any. Just had a lot of time. So got my real estate license and then just started actively pursuing deals.
Okay. And as far as your real estate journey goes, did it start off with wholesaling mainly, or did you start off with fixing and flipping or buying and hold? Where did you start and where you at now, and do you have more goals as far as for your company?
I actually started my first project is a flip. So
your first project was a flip?
I wrote a couple offers. One of them got accepted. I'm like, oh crap, what do I do now? So I kind of. I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
So my first project was a single family flip in Belleville. I didn't know how to do everything. I just got the offer accepted. I knew it was a deal, and I had a slight idea of how much the rent would be, based off of a couple contractors I had come take a look.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
If that was your first flip, how'd you know it was a deal? I know. How'd you know about it? I want the listeners to know.
Honestly, it's so I ran comparable sales. So I looked at what the home was worth based off of recent sales of properties that are very similar.
Okay.
And all the properties there that sold were smaller in size than this house.
Ooh.
And I decided, okay, this is definitely a deal then. So, realistically, I didn't know how much, most things as a contractor would be, but I read a couple books and I got a couple quotes from different contractors to get a slight idea of where it would be. So, based off of the purchase price, and I knew how much the construction was before, I knew it was a deal. And, it was just...
Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Sorry, I couldn't hear if you had any other questions.
No, you got it. So that was your first deal. It was a flip deal, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So from that flip deal, so I'm assuming did it go good? Because usually on an investor's first flip deal, some stuff usually goes wrong. Was there any nightmare stories, or was everything good for you?
Luckily I dealt with a good contractor. So that was a blessing. Although I did undervalue, as far as the budget. The budget, I think I went $15,000 over. So I kind of had to use my credit cards to to hold that.
Got you.
Now, as far as the financing, no one really wanted to partner with me, so that was a big issue at first. Luckily, though, after asking over 100 people for financing, I met this private lender Now, he wanted a huge price. He wanted 4 points and 14% interest.
Okay.
So, but based off the numbers, I knew I could take it.
Okay.
Especially because of how quick it could be done. Luckily, I was in and out of that project from purchase to resale within 4 months.
Fire.
So I really didn't have to spend too much money.
Fire.
So, and then another benefit was, although I went up out of budget 15-20K, I actually sold the property for 35K more than
Fire. So all in all, you were plus what at the end of the day for your first deal?
I was about, I think I made somewhere around 45-50K.
Fire, and that's your first deal, man. Let's give it a round of applause for Big John, man. That's fire, man. And what year was that?
That was 2017, so it was about 4 years ago now.
4 years ago. So as of right now, that was your first flip. Do you still flip now, or you are mostly doing going buying holds?
So we do flips. We do mostly cosmetic flips because we've learned here in this market, like practically anything sells. So basically, what we've done recently actually is we bought a property in like Elizabeth for 167. All we did was clean it up and stage it, so we spent about 4 or 5K. And we sold that for 275.
Fire. So you bought it at 160, all in about 165, 170, and came out 245.
We sold it for 275.
275. Congrats, man. And that's recently?
Yeah, that was a couple months back. Another property we're selling right now in Kearney, we bought it for 160, I think.
Okay.
Kind of the same thing. We're selling that for 265 after just cleaning it out and staging it. Or no, we didn't even stage it. We just cleaned it out because it's an investor sale.
Got it.
Then there's another project we're selling. We're about to put on the market. We bought that for 170. We actually did some work. We put in about 15K or so.
Okay.
And we're gonna list it on the market for 300. It'll probably sell for like 320, 330.
I love the business model of getting in and out real fast. I love cosmetic repairs, and that's the beauty of real estate. I love the fact that you started from flipping, because what I did, I started flipping and I tried to keep going, and then I went into wholesaling. I didn't really do the buy and hold, so I love watching you, and I love that's why I asked you how many doors you had with the 50. Because I know where you started. We met like, I think 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think we both started around the same time, and it's just, I love seeing your journey and watching you grow, watching my grow, and I love watching people win, man.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I remember back then,
And like, you touched on private money, and 2 things you said that really touched me. One, you said you reached out to over 100 people. A lot of people, I deal with private money a lot, so a lot of people don't know you're gonna get a lot of no's before you get a yes. And so I would say about 6-7 no's, and people usually give up. So what gave you the strength? Was it the deal? Like, did you want to get rid of the deal? Like, what gave you the wherewithal to keep asking for the funds for lending?
Just because so like, this is the thing my fiance hates about me. Like, I don't take no for an answer for almost anything.
I love it.
So like, I always figure out how something could be done.
Gotcha.
So like, even for example, I had to get a cashier's check from one of my banks that's not local, and like the original person I was on the phone with said no, like they couldn't do it by Friday, and I'm like, can I speak to a supervisor so that way maybe I can get this resolved? Like, it's the same thing with real estate. Like, if they say no, like if someone wants to sell, sell their property, but they don't want to sell at the price I need it at, they say no. Like, I always, tell either my virtual assistant or my assistant or whoever, give them a call back next week, because
always follow up.
No, it's a not right now.
Always follow up. I was taught that by one of my mentors as well. Always follow up. I love it, man. What advice would you give to any newbie investor?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I missed your question. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say same thing with private lenders. Like, they might say no right now, but then down the road, I just keep posting what I'm doing, and they might come back to me and say, hey, what do you have going on? You know?
Okay. Oh, so back to that point. Let's say you had a private lender. Let's say you asked myself for $50K, for example, and I said no for whatever reason. Would you then follow up with me 2 weeks later, or would you allow me to see the post on Facebook and like a fishing hook kind of thing?
So like what I typically do is like I'll show the deals that okay, so like let's say I had a couple deals that I'm buying right now, and I definitely wanted some funding for them or whatever. Look, if you say no to all of them, that's fine. Like either we have the funds to do it ourselves, or we'll get someone else to do it. And then from there on, like I'll just keep posting about it, and like then just probably sometimes message you like, hey, so this is what's going on at this project. Especially when we're done with the resale of it, like, oh look, we just netted this much. This is what the private investor who lent on it is making. Like
you call that FOMO.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically FOMO, like fear of missing out. So I in that example I just gave, I would see the money I could have made on the deal that you shot it on me first, and then I'll probably jump on the next deal.
Yeah.
If you had to give advice to any new investor that wanted to jump in, what advice would you give them, and where would you tell them to start? Would you say start wholesaling? Would you say start flipping?
It's best.
Our phone got a little shaky there. So can you repeat that, please?
Sorry, you were going in and out. I couldn't hear the question.
Same. I said, if you had to give advice to any investors out there, what would you tell them to do first, as far as buying and hold, investing, fixing and flip investing, or wholesale investing? What would you say do first, and why?
I would say just get a list of, basically pick a town you want to work at. Get a list of, trace a list, or a list with like absentee owners or with guys that have a lot of equity in it. And just start calling.
All right, so being a full-time investor now for your company, what is your business model and what goals do you have for your future?
So, business model is honestly any deal that we get put into any lead or any wholesaler brings us a deal. We look at, we just run the numbers and we think of the highest and best use for it. So, meaning, is this an Airbnb play? Is this, can we add more bedrooms and make this a rental? Is this a fix and flip? Are we going to wholesale it where we just do some light reno and put it on the market? Is it like a full gut? We just off every scenario we could think of.
Got it.
And then from there, if it's a deal, then we will buy it and we'll, execute that strategy.
Fire, man. And do you mainly, moving forward now that you're about 50 doors in, do you mainly do private money or hard money, or does the deal determine that?
The deal determines that, really. Okay. But most of the projects we do, even if it's like 11 units or something, we will go with hard money, and then for the 10% down that we would need, like plus holding costs, plus closing costs, plus points, interest, etc. We'll get a private lender to cover that part.
And how does the in that example you just gave, how does the private lender get protected, like via lien on the property or via lien on the note itself?
So we'll give a promissory note, and then we'll also give a personal guarantee typically. Okay.
All right, man. Hey, Big John, man, I want to thank you so much for your time today, man. If you had to, one last question, I swear. Personal preference-wise, for you yourself moving forward, do you prefer the hard money or private money, or do you prefer the wholesale, or do you prefer the flipping? Like, I know the business model is, but what's your personal preference?
I prefer Airbnbs all day. Like the amount of money that we get the amount of money I get from both my Airbnbs right now is ridiculous. And I know when our 4 units in Wildwood gets up, that's gonna just be a cash flow monster. And then same thing when we get a unit or two ready in Atlantic City, it's a wrap.
Atlantic City and Wildwood are great tourist areas in Jersey. It's definitely a wrap. It's a snack wrap, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a snack wrap. Hey, Big John, thank you, man. I'm going to continue watching your journey, bro. Hopefully I'm going to edit it out, make it look good, make it seem clean. But I want to definitely have dinner with you, talk about everything under the sun, man. I love what you do, you and your partner, and it's a great inspiration to everybody watching, man.
All right, thanks, brother. Just let me know. Let's set it up.
All right, brother. God bless, man.
All right, later.